Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're going to unpack some seriously fascinating data from a report called Text to Calais. We're looking at a real boots-on-the-ground building energy audit case study. You know, we talk a lot about sustainability, efficiency, going green, usually in the abstract, right? But today we're grounding all of that in absolute reality. We're putting on our detective hats, magnifying glasses are completely optional, and we're going to walk through an actual real-world investigation of a commercial building. We're going to look at the hard data, uncover the hidden flaws, and check out the ultimate solutions that turned a massive resource drain into a literal model of efficiency.
Now, it's a super simple question, but man, it's one that completely haunts facility managers and business owners alike. Where is your building's energy really going? I mean, think about it for a second. You pay the utility bill every single month, but you can't actually see the electricity flowing through the walls or the heat escaping through a poorly sealed roof. It's a totally invisible commodity. And because it's invisible, the waste is invisible too. This silent drain takes a massive financial toll day after day, year after year, often without anyone even noticing. Doing nothing here isn't just an environmental issue, it's a direct, really heavy hit to the bottom line.
So let's move right into Section 1, the energy waste mystery, uncovering the drains.
To really grasp the scale of this mystery, we've got to look at the facts on the ground. And the absolutely crucial point here is that we are looking at a real-world case study. This isn't some computer simulation or a theoretical model drawn up on a whiteboard. Nope, this is a physical building. We're talking real occupants, real operating hours, and very real, very expensive energy bills. By taking these kind of abstract concepts of sustainability and applying them to a tangible subject, we actually prove that energy optimization works in reality. It totally sets the stakes. The villain here is energy waste. And look, it's not just bleeding energy, it is quietly bleeding cash.
Which brings us to Section 2, inspecting the crime scene and our audit methodology.
You know, every good investigation needs a really rigorous methodology, and an energy audit is absolutely no different. You can kind of think of the energy auditor as a forensic detective walking the site. They don't just guess where the energy is going, they systematically gather hard evidence. First up, there's the utility bill analysis. They're looking for historical patterns, weird seasonal spikes, and baseload usage. Then comes the actual physical walkthrough, inspecting the HVAC units, the writing grids, the entire building envelope. They even use advanced tools like thermal imaging cameras to literally see heat loss that's totally invisible to the naked eye, and data loggers to track equipment running times overnight. Basically, they want to see what the building is up to when it thinks no one is watching. It's a very logical, step-by-step progression designed to uncover every single hidden inefficiency.
So, with all that evidence gathered, it's time for Section 3, uncovering the biggest drains through an energy usage breakdown.
When we actually map out the energy usage, the suspects isolate themselves pretty much immediately. And let me tell you, it is not a balanced distribution. HVAC takes a massive 55% bite out of the budget. That's more than half. Lighting eats up another 30%, and plug loads account for the remaining 15%. Revealing exactly which systems are secretly draining the budget like this gives our auditors a highly targeted hit list of exactly where to look closer.
So who were the specific culprits in this particular case study? Well, the evidence pointed to a few really glaring issues. First off, systems were just running way out of schedule, literally heating and cooling empty spaces long after everyone had packed up and gone home for the night. Second, they found degraded insulation and leaky ductwork. I mean, think about that. The building was quite literally paying to condition the outside air. And third, outdated lighting technology was still drawing massive wattage while producing excess heat, which, you guessed it, forced the cooling systems to work even harder to compensate. These aren't just minor technical glitches. Each solved piece of this mystery is an invisible leak that's finally been dragged out into the light.
But hey, diagnosing the problem is really only half the battle. Let's head into Section 4, the Efficiency Master Plan, where we look at the recommended fixes and their ROI.
Now this is where the audit really pays off. By placing the recommended fixes right side by side with their projected return on investment, or ROI, the priorities become crystal clear. We see a really sharp contrast here. On one hand, you have low-cost, quick ROI fixes, stuff like reprogramming the thermostat schedules and swapping out old bulbs for LEDs. These have an incredibly fast payback period of just months. Then you have the larger capital investments, like upgrading a massive rooftop HVAC unit or installing smart building sensors, which might take years to break even. But by plotting the upfront cost against the projected monthly savings, the auditor proves mathematically that these sustainability upgrades will literally pay for themselves over time. It's a real game changer.
And that brings us to the big so what of this whole explainer. Like, why does this actually matter to you? Well, because this case study perfectly demonstrates that sustainability and financial savings are not mutually exclusive.
Actually, scratch that. They are the exact same thing. Upgrading the building isn't just some nice favor to the environment to reduce carbon emissions, it is a hard-nosed, incredibly smart business decision. By executing this master plan, the building owners lock in lower operating costs for the entire lifetime of the building. They're increasing its overall asset value while simultaneously shrinking its environmental footprint. Win-win, right?
Which brings us right to our conclusion in Section 5, the final verdict, comparing the before and after audit metrics.
The complete transformation of our subject building here is just stark. We go from a building under constant strain, high kilowatt-hour consumption, frequent maintenance complaints, and bloated utility budgets running totally in the red, to an optimized, sunny future operating efficiently in the green. After implementing the auditor's master plan, the metrics just drop dramatically across the board. The building's operating leaner, it's smarter, and it has far less waste. It is a clear night and day comparison between a wasteful past and a highly efficient, totally resolved future.
To put a finer point on it, we're talking about a definitive 20% drop in total energy usage. 20%! That is the ultimate compounded financial victory of this case study. And look, this isn't just pocket change. It's significant capital that can be reinvested directly back into the business, back into the employees, or straight into the profit margins. It proves definitively that the initial cost of an energy audit is, for sure, one of the highest yielding investments a facility can actually make.
So as we wrap up today's explainer, I really want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. What invisible energy waste is hiding in your environment right now? If a professional walked through your office, or your warehouse, or maybe even your home today, what silent budget drainers would they find hiding in plain sight? The mystery is out there, in your own spaces, just waiting to be solved. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive, and hey, keep asking those smart questions.